to Survivor with Jamie, Jack, and Colleen. My name is Colleen.
And I am Jamie.
And I'm the checklist.
Dun, dun, dun. I love the checklist. Love the checklist.
Fantastic.
Best thing about Survivor all season. Seriously.
It really was. It was good TV.
That and when Owen asked for the list to go on screen of who had what advantages, that was actually incredibly helpful.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So tonight, the episode 10. So we're getting there. I think we're down to 3 episodes left. Of Survivor 43. Get that money, baby. Which Jesse's dad was quoted multiple times and got the episode title.
Jesse's son.
It was his son.
Oh, his son. Sorry. I was actually.
It's a lot cuter. It's a lot cuter when it's his son than his dad.
Yeah.
Extra cute point.
So
his dad would just sound like a leech.
No, I'm sorry. Apologies. And you guys are going to have to do a little bit more of the legwork tonight with some of those extra details because...
Not Macaulay Culkin's dad.
Oh, God. We watched Home Alone. We watch it every Christmas season, obviously, multiple times. We watched it this past week to officially kick it off.
Christmas Carol down, but Home Alone's the next one on the list.
We always start with Home Alone because it's so great.
It's good stuff.
But anyway, so we were watching...
Yeah, a family abandoning their child and nothing comes about it. They don't get arrested.
Although Kevin McAllister is 8 years old in the 3rd grade, so we use this opportunity multiple times to be like, Zach, can you make your own microwave mac and cheese? He's like, I don't like mac and cheese, because Zachary doesn't like cheese, unless it's on pizza. And we were like, Can you do this? Can you do that? Because Kevin's doing his own dishes at his age.
Kevin did his own grocery shopping. Can you go grocery shopping?
Kevin used a paint can to hit someone in the head. Can you do that?
We actually have to very carefully disclaim to both of them, you don't want to murder anybody.
That's not all right.
Although
that ruins the Christmas spirit.
The second movie is the one where every single booby trap in the second movie would actually kill them.
Yeah.
Did you know that Macaulay Culkin is in the movie is as old as Catherine O'Hara was in the movie?
Now,
well, he's the same age as she was in the movie.
Wow.
So however old she was is how Macaulay Culkin is now. That's how old she was as his mom.
I'm looking at my
the days they passed swiftly.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my
Moira
Rose bobblehead over here.
What was that show? Cocoon.
All right, focus. Survivor. Okay, so I was supposed to watch it at home. I was going to watch it at home tonight because Zachary had said earlier he didn't want to go to the watch party in Durham, Jesse's watch party, and then we were it was like 7:15, and Alex was like, I want to go, because last week he'd been promised that, we'll go this week, we'll go next week and come with us.
Right.
So I was like, you do? Why? He's like, I want to stay up late. And Alex, and if you don't know, Alex is famous for about 8:33 every single week will pass out on the couch, and then generally, like the commercial break before Tribal, Jay will carry him into his bed, and it's like clockwork. Alex is very regimented with his.
He's not a party animal.
He is not. I mean, he is, but he's like I have a strict go home time party animal. He's like, I will rage with you until 8:33, and then I am done. So I was like, are you sure you want to stay out late? He's like, I want to stay out late. So then Zachary was like, I don't know what to do. So he's like, I want to go, but I don't want to go. I want to go, but I don't want to go. And he was tired anyway. So
Survivor anxiety.
It was Survivor anxiety. It was like go out anxiety. Like I was like, dude, you're not in college yet. Chill out. So I was like, don't worry. Like you can stay home with Daddy and watch it, and Alex and I will go, and it'll be fine. So then anyway, like, Zachary decides, like, at the very last minute, he, like, jumps into the car with his, like, carrying his jacket and his shoes. Like, it was that last minute. So I was like, all right, we're doing this. So we ended up going. It was really fun. Jesse reiterated, he came over to say hello in the beginning because he recognized Zach. And he was just like, this is going to be a really good episode. And I was like, oh, man, I hope that doesn't mean you get voted out.
Right. That's what I was worried about, especially like the first few sentences he said at the top of the hour, at the top of the show. I was like, oh, this makes me feel like you're gonna be gone by the end of this.
Well, yeah, we were kind of worried, but it was so cute because Zachary was very into the challenges, as he always is. He's always into it. But like, there was this table that was like, the tables, it was like a section, so the tables were kind of close together. And there was this older woman, and she was like watching Zach's reaction and getting the biggest kick out of it. Like, he was like, "Oh, Noelle! Oh my gosh! Come on! You can do this!" Like, just like completely losing the ever-loving S in both challenges. And he was definitely like, he was into it. He wasn't even playing it up. Like, there were points where I was like, shh, eat your pretzel, you're okay.
I'm gonna be real though, like we were the same way here. Like, we were like, oh my god, wouldn't it be crazy if she won this? Wouldn't it be crazy if she won this?
This feeling that I was like, Zach, she's totally gonna win. Don't worry about it.
The way Jeff was talking, I said she's gonna win it.
Yeah, I was like, this is so set up like that, but it was still super awesome. Everybody in the restaurant like stood up and cheered. Like,
Aww.
it was a really everybody was like really, really excited for her. So then I went to go take a picture of like the whole crowd, and and it was during the second challenge. So you guys are gonna have to help me with some of the stuff that happens during the second challenge. All this to say is, I asked this.
Cards fall.
Yeah, apparently. But I asked this group that was at this table, I was like, because they were kind of sitting by themselves, but they were like within our like reserved area. I was like, I'm sorry, are you a part of this group, or?
Are you supposed to be here? That's what you started to say.
No, I was like, are you part of this group? Are you supposed to be? Are you watching Survivor? And they were like, no, we weren't here for that, but we're trying to be. And I was like, okay, well, I just wanted to ask because I didn't want to take your picture if, you were just random diners that had nothing to do with this and didn't want like your picture on like Instagram.
These people don't watch Survivor.
Well, I didn't want to embarrass them because like they didn't sign up to be in like a picture on like Instagram of Survivor and blah blah blah. Especially because they were in the forefront, because they were literally sitting on the outskirts of the group. And then they were like, well, we've never seen it, but
they
like
were enjoying themselves, so you came over and bugged them.
No, actually, it turns out this was the first episode of Survivor. This is what they told me. They could have been lying. It was the first episode they ever seen. They were like super invested. They had seen Jesse.
It's only been 43 seasons.
Well,
I can imagine.
Some people are late bloomers. So anyway, they were like invested. They had seen Jesse and like asked the waiter or whatever, and like he explained it. So they were like specifically watching then like within there, and they like asked me all these questions about it. Like, do people spoil it? Do people know who gets voted out ahead of time? And I was like, well, everything is pretty locked down now. There was this contestant named Russell, like, 10, 15 years ago, who decided to who was really mad that he lost, so he decided to spoil everybody, and everybody went into lockdown mode after that. I'm like shit talking Russell Hand. Still, these people have no idea who he is. I was like, he was just a sore loser and he ruined it for everybody else. And then it was like, so whatever. So he was, I was like twice, but anyway, I was like, they were like, who's favored to win this season? I was like, actually, the fans really like Jesse and they really like Carla. And they were like, what about Noelle? We really like Noelle. Because they'd only ever seen her win that challenge. And I was like, yeah, people really like Noelle. But, she's a little further down than, the Jesse and Carla love in terms of, favored to win. But, Noelle has a good chance. And I'm like, oh my god, Noelle's totally going home now because I had to pretend. Anyway, it was super fun. I don't know if, just because we get back so late, and I don't think Alex will ever go back again, because he was from 8:33 sharp, he was like, I'm tired, I want to go home, I'm so sleepy, can I go to bed, can I lay down, can we go home now? And I was like, I said to Kurt and Susie who were at our table, I was like, it's 8:33, folks. I called it when I walked in. It was right on time. He is like clockwork. So anyway, I was, I kind of let him sleep on me for the next, 20-something minutes. But from tribal council on, he was like, is this tribal over yet? Is it over? Did they go home yet? When is this going to end? It was the most agonizing 5 minutes of his life. So
yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time in Tiny Human, 5 minutes. 5 minutes of not fun is a long time.
It was. It's long for all of us.
Yeah. Well, the excitement was done. Now it's just a bunch of grown-ups yabbing.
Yeah. So
What's the fun in
anyway,
that?
again, I don't know if...
You got Gabler talking about killing people, so that was...
Yeah.
Oh, Zach was
putting
like...
them in the sights, yeah.
Zach was like way into it. Like they were asking him, like, who do you think is gonna go home?
It's like an assassin.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was such a good tribal because it's been a long time since Jeff has had to feed some line or campy idea or analogy that doesn't quite work. This was the first time in a long time that it just was like a really authentic game-based conversation.
Yeah.
And so when the assassin thing came up, I started laughing because he was like, "Oh, it's all working out. It's all working out."
Oh my
what a
God.
great episode to be a Jeff.
But next year he'll vote. Can we use the word assassin? Do I feel bad about it?
He's like, should I say, "Come on in, assassins"?
Yeah. Is that a bad thing? Should we eliminate that? Let's take a vote, and then everyone say, "No, it's cool." Then 3 tribals later, someone.
Well, you don't want to be the one.
Yeah, 3 tribals later, somebody
to
in the
raise your
assassins,
hand.
somebody in the assassins community 3 tribals later is gonna be like, actually, I took offense to that.
Yeah, speaking on behalf of assassins everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, we had like Noelle's challenge, and we had a tribal that was really exciting. We had I thought it was really funny that we have the game, we basically have the game of house, the House of Cards game that's going on. But at the same time, we've got Jesse's edit, which is really game of or House of Cards, because he's looking at the camera. He's like, okay, step 1. It's like Ocean's 11 or some big plot twist is coming. It was really great to see editing that wasn't some long backstory or too time filler. It was just good gameplay from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yes,
and we haven't had much of that this season.
No, I think everyone there is really starting to dig their heels in now, and because, well, okay, if you look at how many different people have won immunity, individual immunity, it's not 1 or 2 people that are rolling it every single time. Yeah. And I think that means that the end game is kind of within everyone's reach. We've talked about that. Everybody's kind of set up where if they make the
even
right...
Cassidy, yeah.
1 or 2 great moves and they're in the end. And they know that.
Yeah.
And they know that too.
Randy in the chat says, because we are live, he says Jeff got more than he bargained for when he asked about heart surgery. He sure did, but, it was awesome.
Yes,
Gabler's good TV.
Yeah.
And
I gotta give it to him too when he, did the slide and he was like, "Hey, I noticed that Jesse and Cody are really trying to wrangle something up here," and I just, checking in with Carla, because I'm sorry, but that she knows that and everybody knows that, but Gabler was smart enough to know, okay, who's the one person that could really go up against Jesse and get him out when I need that to happen.
Well, and also, but what we forget, so I think there was a lot of nerves in the immediate area where I was watching tonight, including myself. But then, I turned to Zach and I was like, Zach, Jesse and Carla are really good friends. And I don't think that Carla would make a move on Jesse just yet in general.
Right.
Maybe she would, but she doesn't give me Chaos Tony vibes. So I think he's safe. Also, he wouldn't be bouncing around from table to table being like, "This is my favorite episode of the season" if he went home. So
she's not dictating the game though. She's just kind of. I think she's just going with the flow.
Right.
When her name came up twice, she was like.
Which is interesting because we had previously been led to believe that she was kind of guiding the game. Even if she wasn't dictating she was guiding it.
I think she's involved, but I think Jesse's definitely running the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Gabler said, I mean, I said, okay, you guys are getting smart. You're going to get Jesse out. But he goes, well, it's just late. We'll talk about it later. I said, okay, he's going to save it for next week.
Now, that brings up a really interesting point, because we're kind of led to believe that Carla's kind of the one pulling some of these moves and calling some of these shots. Like, she has more control in the game. But then we get this whole, thing like last week about how James is like the godfather out there who's working with her, working with Carla. And he's the one that's doing all of these things. So, I mean, is it like we're seeing what Carla's doing, and so we, the viewer, can hand that credit to her a little bit easier, whereas they're not seeing because she's hiding it enough where they really thought it was James that was making the control moves? Or are we just being misdirected?
Well, it's hard to tell, but I think she's playing a good under the radar. I mean, she has control, but she's not. I mean, it sure looks like it's Jesse who's pulling the strings.
Right, but if she's like Jesse's secret number 2, then that's a lot of power to have as well.
Yep.
Like,
it is, but you could tell that she was thrown when she got 2 votes her way. She was completely shocked.
Yeah,
because you could see in her face. She was like, "Oh, I should have played my idol." You could see things.
Yeah,
going through
so
her head.
I did not get to see who voted for whom. Just because of the they turn the lights because the bar closes at 9 that we were at. So as soon as the votes were read, the lights went on and we didn't. Everybody started to there's noise and chaos around me. So I didn't get to see who voted for whom. Was it Noelle and Owen that voted for Carla?
Noelle voted for Sammy.
For Sammy.
Oh, that's right. We saw that vote, right? No.
No, we didn't see it.
Right.
She was completely in the dark what was going on because they must have told her Sammy.
Yep.
Why else would she vote for Sammy?
Because she had kind of brought up the idea that she knew Sammy was a flipper,
Who were the 2 Carla votes then?
It was Owen, right?
Yep, Owen was one of. I can't remember who the other one was.
Owen and I think Sammy.
I bet it was Sammy.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, we did not get to see that. I'm surprised that I half saw the next week on because half caught my eye, but I completely missed. Yeah.
I know Cassidy, I'm drawing a blank on everybody's name, but yeah, that group voted for Noelle.
Okay. Cuz and it was it was also kind of weird watching tonight because you could tell that everybody was relieved that Jesse didn't go home and Carla didn't go home. But there was also this really uncomfortable, sort of this uncomfortableness that now we're down to 2 women and 5 men.
Sure.
It was a weird atmosphere where they were everybody was yes, it's not Jesse or Carla, but do we applaud that Noelle goes home? We also really like Noelle.
Well, right. Like I said last week, the 3 women left could easily win the game.
Yes.
So, like I said, Cassidy would have been my vote last week because she can win the game. Getting rid of Noelle, especially after what she did in the community challenge. I mean, there's no way you can't. I mean, you could see everyone's reaction when she won. It was genuine. It wasn't fake.
Yes. Well, I mean, her.
How could you not be? Oh my God! She couldn't get across. I mean, it was a tough challenge for her. I mean, it was almost ridiculous, but she stuck in there. You could tell she wanted to quit.
It was awesome.
Said,
it was really inspiring.
I can't quit. I mean, she did. I mean, she did what she said she was going to do. She wanted to inspire people, and she did. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she got across that thing after all that time. Not only that, but she won.
Yeah, she won. And if you look at the very beginning of that challenge, that's the dizzy start challenge, right?
Oh, I know.
It's always fun because you get to watch them run sideways for a second. But not only are they running dizzy, they're having to run over this net, which is a nightmare for me to watch every time because I just feel like everybody's pulling tendons. Everybody's getting hurt. But they're running through that net and then getting onto that balance beam. So, I mean, half of them were still really dizzy when they got to that beam. Owen, there was a couple times he had to lower him, his center of gravity. Not Cassidy, though. She just flew through all of it. I thought at first Cassidy was for sure going to win because she was the first one to just run through all of it.
Yeah, apparently throwing that thing up is really hard.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a little tough.
She hit it 4 or 5 times. I mean, I think the key is you have to hit like the front of it.
Yeah, you have to get a little drag on it because if it just lands, it's going to bounce, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what Noelle did. She hit the front and it just wedged there.
Grabbed it. Yeah, it grabbed it. But, I mean, geez. So, Dizzy running through that net, she gets to that balance beam. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, how do you get across this beam with that being part of what you have to use? Like, because you go, okay, you can't really get across the beam like that, like, on one leg bouncing, you know what I mean? Like if you were to try to do it,
she tried. I thought she was gonna get hurt.
You just can't do it because there's nothing to catch your balance. So I mean, it's one thing to be able to do all the stuff that she has been doing out there because there is some massive relay races and jumping from these high places and jumping over these things and just like all these amazing things that are really challenging physically for anyone who has all of their working limbs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. And she flew through those things. And then you see something like a balance beam and you don't register until you actually see what she is up against. Like, that's the thing. That's the one thing that really challenged her, but she still did it. And then she won the challenge. Yeah. So
yeah,
but it's just a cool story though. Like everybody likes an underdog story. So
right,
and
but I think that put a real target on her back though.
Well, exactly. I mean, it did.
Quoting Gabler.
Anybody sitting there that realizes everything that she's gotten through and been able to push through and win. On top of it, her social game is great. On top of it, her strategic game has been great. No one was going to win sitting next to her. So
and they even point out what we were talking about last week is her move last week.
Yeah.
Right.
Which
was a baller move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she was, you had to get rid of her.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have been on board. I'd been like, thank you for saying so. Yes, I'll vote her out.
Getting rid of Carla would have been okay. I think because she can win it. I think it's Jesse, Carla, or Cassidy right now are the top 3 people that can win it.
Yes.
I think Gabler could. Sammy, the way they're talking about him, he doesn't have a chance because he's the flopper, he's flipper. He's the guy that they don't trust.
Yep.
He really isn't playing a game. He's just a follower. I mean, today was I go, okay, he can't win. I like him, but he can't win because he hasn't been. I got to make the bold move, and his bold move is just doing whatever people are telling him to do. So,
well,
we have 6 people left.
7.
Yeah, and now we're down to 7. Unfortunately, with Sammy, it's not that you can't win this game being a snake. You absolutely can win this game being a snake. But in the new era of Survivor, it's going to be way more of a challenge to win as the snake than it is not.
And when you're the snake, you don't want to be known as the snake that's a flopper.
No.
Or flipper.
No.
Whatever it is.
No,
and that's his problem.
It's one thing if you can redirect that viewpoint and you were like the swing vote, that's one thing. But he's never the swing vote. He's literally the one who tries to flip it on its head every time.
Right, and he's just unfortunately I go, okay, he can't win. So of the 7, he's your goat. He's the guy you take to final 3 because he's not getting any votes.
Just bring him along.
Which is very also reminiscent of like Xander, right? Kind of being in that same exact spot, same exact like archetyped in a way.
Well,
obviously they have very different. Sammy's playing a much better strategic game than Xander played. Xander was literally like, I can't vote for the first 6 weeks, so cool. Like, still like
Xander played a better game, where Sammy, his social game is good, but just the way they were talking about him today, I said, okay, he can't win.
Right, but I think that I don't know. I feel like Sammy actually played I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen. I think Xander disarmed everybody enough that they thought that he was harmless enough, and like, you're bumbling idiot without an idol to go to the end. Whereas Sammy, people are actually like thinking about it a little bit differently. Okay, like he's playing, he's a snake,
They like him, but they're just like, okay, he goes to Carla, he tells Carla what the plan is. He's like playing both sides of the fence. He's all over the place.
So,
and that's one thing I think is different too with Sammy and Xander is the overall idea is that it seems like everybody gets along with Sammy, and for the most part they like him. They just see the game he's playing; it's transparent. Whereas with Xander, his game wasn't quite as transparent, but also people didn't like him that much.
They just didn't take him seriously. Yeah,
well,
right. They kind of were annoyed by him. You know, he didn't have any really strong bonds with anybody.
That's where Sammy, his youth, his inexperience in life, is hurting him.
That's where he wishes he was 22.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jack. That's a great point. That's where his inexperience. So God is in the chat, and he has been basically crapping all over Survivor in previous comments.
I can't really argue with God. I like the older game more than the new game. So I'm as much as I hate to agree with God because I just don't like him. But
I have a bone to pick with God that he has not shown up to a live broadcast in months, and I miss him, and I am upset about that. I feel offended.
He's probably drunk somewhere, and he just doesn't remember how to get on his password to his computer.
He's writing letters.
This feels strangely like projection.
CBS. He's writing letters to the manager of CBS about his disdain for the new era.
Yeah. But that does sound like projection, Jack. Is that why you changed the password to the Ramblecast stuff last week?
I changed it because I couldn't remember what I had changed it to before. And
I would have told you. I had it saved in my
Well, it was one of those things because we were the Ramblecast was going to do it Monday night, and then I wasn't sure if I could make it because of something I'll tell you tomorrow what happened. And then it turns out I couldn't have made it. And then Chris couldn't make it because of what happened in Boston or the Apple store. So
what?
So
this is the first time that I'm actually completely in the dark on everybody's everything. Usually I know.
Someone drove a truck through an Apple store, and a lot of Chris's workmates were there.
Shut the front door. I didn't know this.
So Chris couldn't make it, and so before that...
Stupid mass shootings taking away the headlines from... No, I'm just kidding. That was insensitive. But seriously, I did not know that. Oh my God. Okay.
So, and I couldn't make it for a certain reason. And so I told Matt, he goes, yeah, but I don't know the password. I go, I can't remember what it is. I go, you know what? I'm just going to change it to something else. Because I tried like 4 times. 5 times you get locked out. So I said, I'm just going to change it.
And I will give you credit. But you changed it into a password that is a good 15 digits. So kudos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, God, you will not beat me in NFL picks. No, you will not.
But so the new era bites is what God had said. Miami Mike said the new era is missing villains. I don't know, do you think that maybe it's because the new era basically casts all fans at this point, that everybody is very conscious of...
There is a lot of fans, but I mean, honestly...
Every single person that has played since we came back from the pandemic has been a fan. They're not doing the casting, the bar casting stuff anymore.
In the past, you had fans that were villains. I mean, fans...
But that's okay. Granted, it's not always going to give you the most, physically astute people, but... I like having fans of the game because I have a serious issue with casting pretty people that you spot at the mall or are part of a modeling agency.
That's why I turned it down. I said no, that's not how I should be.
Also, I also think
I want somebody to play the game who knows the game and loves the game.
When they had the pretty people that were just, and I'm not against pretty people, but when they had the pretty people that were just there to get, their 15 minutes exposure, and they weren't there to play the game. But you also have fans in the past that had no, the super fans that had really no clue how to play the game.
Yes, a lot.
But I have no problem with these people. They're playing the game, but it took almost like the last couple weeks for them to start. For strategy to be happening in the game, it was more like I'm missing the strategy. I think the idols have really ruined the game.
We have idol play hasn't.
I've said the producers should go back to where let the players play the game. Don't dictate how the game is played. Don't change things up because we got to do this.
They're trying to always course correct or
they're manufacturing the game, and I think it was better when the players played the game. I think because again, you could go. Well, I'm going to have alliance with this person. Oh, we're switching tribes.
Well, and also we have a lot of people working together. It seems like in casting, another thing that used to happen a little bit more is that they would have they would cast personalities that would purposely clash. Mm-hmm. Right? Like they knew this person and this person on the same tribe is going to make for television drama. And I don't think they necessarily do that anymore. They cast people that they are generally interested in, that they bring something they like about them, but it's not so much for the dynamic of arguments and competition like it used to be. So now we get that, as the fans have called it, like the kumbaya phase and everything, like the last 3 seasons. And it's not until they can smell the end, that they start to really start to hype the game up. Before that, it's like, what makes the most sense? Like who is the one that we like a little bit less than everybody else? And that's probably why the paranoid person has been getting picked out this season left and right.
Right.
Because what other reason is there to get rid of these people? These people haven't done anything scary.
Right, and also, if you have a bunch of people who are fans who are invested in, like, the fandom, they're, for the most part, if they're not, like, inherently just, like, a-holes by nature, like, they're going to be... They're going to be self-aware of what the edit is. What? Like who?
If Gott was picked.
If Gott was picked, exactly.
There's
like
a major a-hole.
Right, like a major a-hole who doesn't care about, like, the edit. But I feel like a lot of people they picked are actually self-aware of the edit and how they'll be portrayed. And they don't want to, like, get a negative, like, edgic and the Survivor Reddit to go after them and Survivor Twitter. So, like, I feel like the upside to having... in general, I feel like the upside to having more, like, fan-heavy seasons could be you potentially have more strategic-heavy seasons, but the downside is also you have a bunch of people that are more self-aware of, like, how they're going to potentially come across. And,
Yep, there it is, right there. You were walking into a generation that is more self-aware than the previous 2 that have been playing the game, and that's it. That's everything.
You don't have a Johnny Fairplay.
Right.
Just didn't care.
They just haven't.
He just didn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, you had even Rob Cesternino. He was kind of wacky in his.
But that was so early on, right?
Like, I know, but I'm saying is that
pre-social media.
They're like we're saying they're afraid.
Right.
And I get it. It was like, okay, who wants to be trashed?
Right.
On social media and be dragged. Like if you make one mistake.
That's true.
Right, like
you say the wrong thing. You say the wrong thing. It's like, oh my God, you're done.
Right, and that's why CBS has Big Brother, and they cast the people.
That's where all the a-holes go. How do you feel about racism? Okay, Big Brother.
I don't want fighting. I don't want a bunch of stuff like that. But I just want more gameplay, and I still think there's just. And someone had mentioned that they haven't even been playing the idols that much. I get that, but the people know they're there, and it does change the game. And I just
see. I don't mind, and I've said this every season when we have this discussion. I don't mind people playing their game around an idol. I think the fact that they're now playing their game around all the other advantages, the steal a vote, the beware advantages, the this, the that. I think. I understand, I always say this, I understand the intention behind it is to, like, make a game where you have to, like, hopscotch over things. But, at some point, people are just, again, they're going to be self-aware enough to overcompensate or undercompensate. And I wonder if...
say they should have, instead of a risk idol, it should be, okay, if you can go hunt for an idol, but you could find, you lose your vote as long as you have this idol.
Oh, okay.
So now you go, you know what? I'm safe tonight. Here's an idol. You take my idol, and they go, oh, thank you, and then they have to think, what do you mean I lost my vote?
Oh,
I think that's putting more strategy into the game where it's like, okay, now do I do this I can't do it when the jury, the person, I have to do it before they get to the jury, but I don't want to lose my vote. So how do I get this person out of the, if I do it, I got to make sure that person is out of the game.
So we live in this era then where we don't have the villains and we can't really use these idols in a villainous way. I mean, we can a little bit. Jesse kind of did. Noelle kind of did. So if we continue going like this, then is it fair to say that our Survivor likely won't get a hero versus villains again? Like that theme is out the window? Or are they going to start bringing some people with a mean streak that can
Right.
really...
It's like everybody against Tori from last season.
And then she wins.
And then she wins.
I will say this, I'm blue in the face. They need to have a season where all the first people voted out first.
I am
always 100% behind that one.
I've been saying this, and it'd only be fitting if Francesca, I hate to say this, if she was voted out first again.
Always number one.
Yeah. But I think that would be, because we never saw how they would play their game.
Right.
We don't know.
I am 100% down with that.
And the problem when you bring back survivors, you bring back, survivors from the past, most of them have either won or they've gone to final three. They've gone, these people, we don't know because they got voted out first. We don't know what their game would be.
We have no idea what they're actually capable of. Yeah, I would adore it. I would be so excited for that.
Same. And I would especially insist...
If you're listening, CBS, you can have my idea.
You can have his idea. But I would insist that if they were going to do that, they have to make sure that dude... Was his name Zane? The redhead guy that quit Philippines because he wanted to smoke or whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about?
Can't do it. Gotta smoke.
That guy. That guy's not back. I'm out.
That guy would be named Zane.
Well, the problem is, could you get 18 or 20? I mean, because it's been 43 seasons.
Totally.
Francesca was 2 of them. You'd have to find 20 people willing to come back.
Oh, hands down.
Again. I bet you could.
Because a lot of those people, you don't even remember. You don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
You don't.
Even better.
The only reason I remember it because she was voted out twice.
Yeah, especially pre-Twitter, because another weird, wonderful thing that the new era has brought is that our first outers tend to be really active on Twitter and have
that's a good point,
and have a name and face that is known as much as the other players just because of their social media presence. So you'd have that group of first outs, but then you'd have the old school first outs. I don't know, I think you'd be creating some pretty interesting dynamics.
I think it could work, and I think you could.
Now, of course, a lot of them are old, so they may not want to come because in the beginning, the older people always got voted out first. It seemed like, if I remember correctly.
There's an equal amount of older people, and it's not like
I'm just saying too old to play the game. I mean, it's been since 2000.
Well, if they couldn't find 20 people that were willing to come back, they could also.
When the show came out.
That's true.
They could do 10. They could do 10 first outs and then 10 new people. I mean, it would almost be the same starting point,
Well, also you could just do 20 pre-merge people. They played one time and they were pre-merge, people that have never made the merge.
Or if they did a season that was all just number 5s and 4s, everybody would be a villain. It would be great.
Well, I like what God said. Now the villains are the people who wake up
just a tad grumpy. And then Randy said, Jack doesn't know them because he got kicked off Twitter.
That's true, but I'm back.
But he's back because we have hashtag free speech. Hashtag comedy is legal. We're in the era of blue check mark, baby. Oh my God, maybe we could just have next season of Survivor 44 blue check marks versus white check marks.
Ooh.
AKA people that were verified versus people that paid to be verified.
Are you verified, or are you $8
It's
verified?
only $8 a month. I mean, I considered it, just...
The $8 versus the...
Just to F with people.
The haves versus the have-nots. The $8 versus...
There you go.
Then God said free Jack.
Free Jack City.
Free Jack City.
That could be a movie.
Oh.
Hashtag justice for Gail.
Or you have to get on Survivor, say Free Jack City, and make it the episode title.
Ooh, yeah.
I like that better. Okay, let's focus as we're winding down here. Focus. Okay. Winding down. The return of Reem. That's it. You're right. Reem. And she just wins.
$8 patron level to get a check mark.
Randy, that's a spectacular idea, and I'm gonna look into how we make that happen. Because you can do that on YouTube, because Jay does that for Geek Dad Life, actually.
Very good.
Yeah, he does. He's got some thing where you pay like $1 a month or whatever, and you get like a verification thing. Yeah. Yeah. He makes me subscribe to his Patreon so I can go to his Patreon shows, so he would not send me the link unless I did not. So I refuse to do this stupid extra YouTube thing, but
that sounds fair.
You know, who am I? I'm just the person that's upstairs doing the dishes and making the lunches for the week while he's recording every Sunday, but okay. Anyway,
if you were on the island,
what?
If you were on the island, you might be the first out.
I'd be the first out.
On the island.
I would be the Reem of the island. But whatever.
Oh, you're the old guy. I go, yeah, I'm the old guy, but come on.
So much to be thankful for. Okay, focus. Back on this episode, because we're getting late and long in the teeth here. Okay, do we think Noelle was the right choice?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so as well, because she's a spectacular player.
The right choice would have been Jesse, but it wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Right.
But Noelle's a spectacular player who was just kicking butt in all facets.
I wouldn't want to sit next to her.
No, I would not want to sit next to her either.
What could be your argument? If someone asked because they don't really ask it anymore. Well, because it's all, be nice. But they used to ask the question, why should you win it over the person sitting next to you? It's like, well, because I don't know. There's no. How could you answer that question?
Right.
Well, you know what? I would vote for her. I'm running against her.
Yeah. Well, she was friends with Justine back then, and Justine was able to get a free car, so,
yeah, I don't
You should vote for me, because I wasn't friends with the free car lady.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is.
They made the right choice because she didn't have immunity, and she was a threat. And obviously she was completely blindsided because the checklist worked, and because she voted for Sammy and nobody else did.
Yeah. The check mark thing was amazing.
She's too smart of a player just to waste her vote like that.
Yeah, agreed. And again, like the check mark thing was so much fun. Like it was super fun. Like just in general, Well,
he's obviously super smart. He went to Berkeley and Duke, right?
Yeah. Or he works at Duke.
Well, and it was really fun too, because at the beginning of the season, and he said that he compared himself to like Christian or Cochran if they had been jumped into a gang at 15 years old, and like this was the first time we really got to see that same kind of personality type, and it is something how like Christian, he's always like analyzing and laying out lists, and so that was kind of a fun throwback to what he had brought up at the very beginning or preseason. Like there it is. He wasn't just saying it to compare himself to somebody to like that really is his brain is still working the same way theirs kind of would.
He looks like he's lost a lot of weight though. I didn't really notice it until today. I go, God, he looks he's getting bony.
I think they're all at that point. Although according to Goth, they should all be like, nice and meaty still because it's only 26 days.
Keep that muscle tone, man.
Well,
Janine was looking rough until she went into jury. So now she's going to get to eat.
I am actually really sad that we don't get the Ponderosa videos like we used to.
Now you can find Ponderosa videos, but they are not the way they used to be. I think they're getting like their own camera and they're like talking to the camera themselves, like a selfie cam. It's not quite the same, but I have found a few.
What is it because of COVID or what?
No, during Survivor 41, there were some, I guess, allegations of things happening with some of the crew at Ponderosa, like the CBS crew, and I guess they decided. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not very up on like the gossip like that, but it's my understanding that there were some allegations with some of the camera crew or whatever, and CBS decided to do away with it last year, which really super is a bummer because honestly,
Yeah,
I always love those
enjoyed,
videos.
Yeah, I watched them.
Yeah, I miss them too because it is fun to see some of these people in a much more relaxed state, where they're not like, yeah, okay, and you're still in the game, but you're not really still in the game because you're not freaking out every 5 seconds and super paranoid about everything around you.
Yeah.
But it's also like really great when somebody who is, kind of backstabbed, them would come walking into Ponderosa. So those were some great conversations, and I hate missing those.
Yeah.
I agree with. I thought it was the cast was fighting a lot during 41.
Okay, so my mix, I thought it was lots of fighting by the cast. Maybe that's it.
That's what I thought, because I thought Shan went there and kind of stirred the pot on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just read a salacious rumor that was very untrue.
I do remember that, and it was there was a lot of accusations about racism and all that different stuff, and as people were getting mad. And,
it was drama camp basically, and I think CBS was like, well, we don't need to.
The game carried over.
Maybe what I
which usually doesn't happen. Usually it's once they're out, they go, oh, I love you, I had to vote for you.
That's true. There was a lot of drama 2 years ago. I could have just read something that was completely unfounded,
took the mangoes.
Which is someone took the mangoes and they never recovered. I hope that's more it than that.
Papaya.
Yeah, I hope that I just spread unfounded rumors. To be honest, I do, because I like the fighting better. But still, if there was just fighting, like, I don't know.
No, I think there was. Okay, here's the deal. I think that there was a lot of something going on, and none of the cast has really said clearly publicly what it was. It's like there's just always this like a little bit of alluding to this, a little bit alluding to that, and then at some point, like, Shan was very publicly upset about how like she kept being thrown under the bus. It was like a whole thing, but like the whole real story was never laid out.
CBS doesn't want to get sued.
Public.
Well, just like last season, we had the Omar accusations against Drea.
Right. With
Drea?
Yeah.
Was Drea? Yeah.
I think it was Drea. Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't Shan. It was Drea.
That was last. Well, Drea and Omar had some.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Omar. It was Drea. That's what I apologize, Shan. It wasn't you. It was yes, Drea and Omar.
So there was the Ponderosa drama on the season that had Shan and Ricard, and that there was that one. And then you go into 41, and then there was the stuff that happened, and Omar had done it on
42.
So
Omar gave an interview on.
Right.
Omar gave an interview on RHAP, and he shared some stuff about some drama involving Drea, and it was such a complete and utter show following that they actually had to like take that podcast down and edit out 15 minutes of it.
I like both players.
I know, I did too. So I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt because emotions are high out there when you're not eating and sleeping.
Yeah, but that was if he's doing a podcast, that's like how many a year later, 6 months later?
Yeah, I don't know.
You think it? So it must have been something that was so bad that he just couldn't let go of it.
Yeah,
having some struggle with it, and I mean, like, I think he was.
And
he was really honest. He was honest about how he felt about things, and I don't feel like his attitude about everything wasn't unfair or anything like that. But it was so much that they did take it off of that podcast, not because
CBS asked them to.
Not because what he was saying was necessarily unfounded. It was making a lot of people upset. So no Ponderosa for us. Just little selfie cams.
Which is so sad because I really love Ponderosa. Nice
Janine
things,
telling us
people.
like why you wear the flower behind this ear instead of this ear, and it's like really not that exciting.
They need Debbie. They didn't need Debbie to be the host of Ponderosa.
Oh, right.
She would be perfect.
No, they need Cass to be the host of Ponderosa.
No.
If it's not Cass, don't talk to me.
No, because Debbie would be like, when I hosted the Tonight Show, this gave me perfect training to host the Ponderosa videos. So she could have a table. She could have a table there with her cup, Johnny Carson cup with her cigarette box, and
Cup.
I know. Most people are like, Johnny Carson. Who? What?
Oh my God. Okay, we gotta focus. We are for the second week in a row, we are very off focus. Okay.
Survivor.
We are talking Survivor. Any last thoughts about the episode that actually just happened? I'm sorry that I don't have notes. I was trying to take them on my phone, but once Alex started sleeping on me, it was very difficult.
I took.
That checks. Yay Noelle, yay Cassidy. So that we were sitting at this table and one of our friends, Susie, was like, do you guys realize that women have won 100% of the women on Survivor have won the last 3 challenges? Because I
didn't realize that.
We had Carla, then Noelle,
and I'm sure God's gonna
Cassidy.
say that's another reason why Survivor sucks.
Somewhere Shandy just literally spit beer out of her nose.
I gotta be honest with you, on that challenge, if my house of cards had fallen, I would have said, F it, I'm out. I can't do this. I'm pissed.
Yeah, it was funny.
I don't have the patience for something like that.
So it was, that was the challenge where I was talking to those people, which again, I did not mean, I had given the boys in the car there. I was like, okay, if you're both here.
We know you went to the bouncer and said, hey, can you get these people out?
I was like, we are.
Get them out of here.
We are silent.
Who are these people?
We do not talk during the show. Mommy needs to pay attention because I can't rewatch it beforehand. And everybody was really good. And then it was me, who of course was the chatty McGee to the strangers, that I missed half that second challenge.
Cindy was talking to me and I go, do I have headphones in? Hello?
Mike says that Survivor is running out of women to win challenges this season.
That is true.
It is. It really is. There's not many left.
Not many left.
Maybe they'll win them all.
Maybe. We'll see. But
that was a tough, because what if you're not left-handed? I mean, right-handed? I mean,
yeah.
It was left-hand, right? I don't know. It was a tough challenge because you have to keep. In fact, I think Owen at one point kind of walked away from it, and I said, "That's what you have to do."
I did see that part.
He kind of stepped back and was kind of stretching. I go, because it would be so frustrating. You're like, you're this close, and Jeff goes, and Owen did. Oh, there it goes.
It would be Jeff too. Jeff just yells and startles you.
I would have picked up a piece. I would have picked up a piece and threw it at Jeff. I just would have chucked it at him.
So was there any
You wanted an assassin. You got an assassin.
Bounces off his head. How's that black shirt working with the blood coming down your forehead?
You jerk.
What? That got me kicked off the show? I don't care.
Come on, forever. Jerk.
I'll be remembered forever.
At any point today, did either of you think that it wasn't going to be Noelle going home? Did you think that Gabler's move paid off?
It was too, because Gabler even admitted it was moments before. He didn't contact her he didn't talk to Carla till moments before they were leaving for the vote. So
I had a moment of fan fiction fun in my head where Gabler was able to pull something, and they wrote Jesse's name down, but Jesse played the idol that they didn't know he had. And then in my mind, Jesse would look right at the camera and say, "Number 4." That was the idol. But this worked out too.
Miami Mike says, I think Owen just ran out of dominoes after he kept throwing them away after every fall. What was the challenge where Sophie was screaming at Albert to pick up? Was that a domino challenge or whatever card challenge?
I don't remember.
It was one of the last ones before the final 3 where she was like, Albert, pick up my stuff. And everybody freaked out. I don't know. That was my first season, so I remember random bits of stuff about my first season.
I don't. That's because Sophie won, right?
That was, yeah, Sophie won. She beat Coach.
I think that's when Survivor started going downhill.
No, stop it. Shut your... No.
Because Sophie was like, Sophie? Everyone's choice was Sophie? How is that?
Well, because we all thought that Coach was going to win. After Ozzy didn't win. All right, Mike also says once CBS had Jesse setting up his plan, she'd have a chance. And Gott says Gabler is playing a shockingly decent game, as is Cody. Like, I think we all thought that Gabler and Cody were going to be these wild card crazy people, and they have both been pretty under the radar.
Yes,
I like when Cody said, he goes, I got these people I haven't talked to in a while, and I can't, I'm not one to talk. Maybe if I had some coffee, hey, how you guys doing? We haven't had a talk about. Hey, I'm starting a fire here, and everything like that. Hey, I would have liked a couple beers. That's okay.
Wait, did he say that I want some coffee? Did he say that?
It's espresso or something like that.
Okay, because
I'm not really talking a lot.
Wow, you just really filled in a key moment of my night tonight, because while Alex was trying to, somewhere around like 8:45, trying to sleep, he puts his head up and goes, I wish I had coffee. And I was like, why? He's like, because coffee keeps you awake. Coffee wakes you up. And I didn't get where he got that from, but if he had heard Gabler say that, you literally just filled in a major puzzle piece of my night.
Maybe he was watching an old Folgers commercial with who was the lady that used to live next door that always pushed the Folgers coffee? I know I'm dating myself. I just finished Mad Men, another rewatch of Mad Men.
Oh boy.
So, was it her name? Come on, Gott, you're old enough to remember.
Randy says, still think Cody looks and sounds like Warm Taffy. Oh,
damn. Come on, Cody's in shape.
Oh. I still remember that time Dale fell off a ladder.
I'm not wrong.
It wasn't great. All right. Focusing.
Mrs. Olsen. Mrs. Olsen was the coffee lady.
Mrs. Olsen.
In what TV show? Mad Men?
The Folgers.
No, she would bring this big can. Is when coffee was in a big can before you got all technical. She would walk into someone's house. Oh, it's Mrs. Olsen, and she'd have a big can of Folgers coffee, and they would make the coffee on the it'd percolate and boop, 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 and then they'd Folgers coffee, because Ted never had a second cup of coffee at home until he had Folgers coffee. But anyway.
Who doesn't have a second cup of coffee at home? Lies.
Who doesn't have a third at this point in life?
Because if you've never seen Mad Men, we all seen Mad Men?
Yes.
It ends with the most famous commercial of all time, right? The Coke commercial. I've had that song in my head for 2 days now. I cannot get it out of my head.
You're going to have to go watch the commercial a bunch of times. Weed it out.
They show it because that's what they show at the end.
Yep. Anyway. You gotta go live in the song for
All right. Okay. Focusing.
Teach the world.
We gotta go into the tally the votes. Any last thoughts on the episode itself?
As I drink a Pepsi.
As you drink a Pepsi. Oh my God. Bruh. It's 10:36 p.m. Why are you drinking caffeine?
Well, I'm drinking it with my special.
I love it.
All right, fair enough. They're neutralizing each other.
I've had a headache for 2 days, so
Okay, so obviously caffeine, special drink, and water are really your friends. All right.
Coca-Cola product.
They're not sponsoring us.
They should be. Maybe we get John Draper.
Except you literally just said you're drinking Pepsi.
Well, I'm drinking Pepsi and I have Dasani, so it's like, this isn't the real thing.
They balance each other.
Oh boy. All right.
I think I got points today, though.
Everybody got points. Okay. So all three of us had Noelle making the merge. So, Jamie gets a point. She now has 7. Jack gets a point. He now has 8. I get a point. I also now have 7.
I didn't have Noelle going home?
Well, let's see. You did.
Oh. Yes.
You did. So Jack gets a second point for having Noelle going home. So Jack is now officially at 9, and Jamie and I are at 7.
You guys might as well just quit. I'm on a roll.
Never. Never! Never. All right. Who do we think is going home next week? Anybody want to start?
I spent the probably the last 5 to 10 minutes of this episode thinking about who I was going to pick for this, and I never could settle on anybody.
Then you don't know what you're doing.
I don't. I don't.
I'll go first.
I fly by the seat of my pants every day.
I'll go first because we know Carla has an idol, and with the vote being, she'll play her idol next week. I think no matter what, unless she wins immunity, I think she would be. She's a smart player, and I think she knows because you can see her face like, why didn't I play my idol? So she'll play her idol next week, and I think Cassidy is the one to go home.
Okay.
Well, and heads up to these idols that they put together with the beads. In James's exit interviews this week, he did say everybody knows. Everybody knows
who has the idols.
The bead. Yeah, everyone knows who's got what.
Okay, I downloaded the exit interviews, but I never listened or read them. Well, I meant to. I just ran out of time.
Jesse's eliminating his competition.
It's smart. That's what you do, right?
That's what you do, and he's got Cody on his side. Sammy will vote whatever way he wants. I don't think Gabler can convince Carla to vote against Jesse at this point. So I think Cassidy's the one she can win. So he's going to eliminate her.
So you think it's Cassidy next week?
Unless Cassidy wins immunity, and it's been 3 straight times women have won.
Yeah.
Never in Survivor history has it happened 4 times. So. I'm just making that. I
know you are.
Not to be broken.
I'm an authority with whatever it is. I'm going to say that I think it's Cassidy because Cassidy could beat Jesse, especially when you're flooding the jury with when women are going on to the jury. So you can't go. If there's women outnumber the men, it's not in your best interest to take a woman to final 3 with you. I think Sammy is a lock to go final 3.
Interesting you say that because Sammy is actually my pick for next week.
I just don't see him. There's no reason for him to go home.
You know what?
I toyed with it a little bit but with Noelle going out, I feel like the threat to Sammy's died a bit.
And I think that they're not going to see Owen as a threat anymore. And I think that because we talked about earlier, Sammy, they recognize that Sammy is a bit of a snake. That it's getting harder for Sammy to hide when people already kind of get his deal. Where I think they're going to be worried about.
I like Owen, but he never seems to be in the loop.
Right, and I think they're going to be worried about Sammy's potential jury story. We're going to get that whole storyline, blah blah blah, whether it's true or not. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm going with Sammy.
Well, Sammy will go to the jury. He goes, I was only 19. I lied about being 20. Everyone was, yeah, we
know. That's going to be his, he's going to, instead of, drop the mic, he's going to drop his torch and be like, 19, bitches!
He's going to drop his torch and burn down the whole set.
Oh, speaking of, anybody watch Andor, the finale? Spectacular.
I haven't even started it yet.
I
had to finish Mad Men.
Amazing season finale. Okay. Mike says it seems like whoever Jesse and Carla want out will go next week. I kind of agree, and
I think it's Cassidy. I mean, she's their biggest threat. I
think that you're right, but here's the thing: I need to try to get some points that you don't have. So I'm actually gonna slide on over to Colleen's party, and I'm gonna go with Sammy as well because I just don't see them going after Owen. I just can't. And the other, I know everyone else has got idols. Sammy, yeah.
Like I said, right now I forgot about Owen. I always forget about Owen, but I think right now the only 3 that can win are Jesse, Cassidy, and Carla.
Well, and I think about that. If you're forgetting about Owen, that says something, right?
And I like Owen, but I just don't think he can win.
But hold on. Now, Gabler does not have an idol right now. We don't know what he's going to get in the next episode or not get, right? But right now he doesn't have anything.
I don't think they consider him a threat.
Yeah.
I think he's played a pretty good game. Like Dot said that he's played a pretty good game, a shockingly decent game, but not good enough to win.
Okay, but you know what? I'm going to switch my vote to Gabler, and here is my reason.
Okay.
He went to Carla, and he told Carla he was onto Jesse's game, and if Carla's wanting to work with Jesse a little bit longer, she can use that.
That's very true. Although she could also just have them throw Cody under the bus as well.
And yep, she could. But I'm gonna go with Gabler just to have a different person.
If I'm Carla, I get rid of Jesse.
Yeah, it seems like that would be the thing to do.
She would beat Cassidy.
But let's also put out there that if Jesse does sniff it out, he does have a secret idol. He's the only one that has a secret anything.
Yeah. I don't know. I maintain Sammy though. Like that's
well, he told Noelle though he was getting back his idol from Cody, wasn't he? Because what did you and Cody talk about?
Oh,
yeah, but he's got the secret one that was Dwight.
Yeah, he has a secret one. I think that she was just meaning he was meaning just in case somebody has a knowledge's power out there.
Yeah. Well, from the week before.
Because nobody knows. No one knows that he has the Dwight idol. Which is really the Janine idol. Except the jury, presumably. I'm presuming that...
He has two idols.
Yeah.
Well, he did. He had. Now he might have given it back for real. The other one.
The one that was Cody's?
The Cody idol.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, they were all playing musical idols.
Maybe that's that must have been what he was saying. He gave back the Cody idol.
Yeah, I think he was just saying, here's my plan.
Cody had it around his neck tonight.
Right, because, I think that he was like, oh, I have to have, a backup, a red herring kind of plan, because she's going to ask why you're talking to Cody, and he was like, oh, I'm going to just say that, I'm going to blame it on the idol talk, even though, that wasn't it. So.
Right, which also could lend him a hand going forward, because it's like, oh, remember when we talked about that whole Cody's idol? It's just another way to cover up that he's got one himself, So, yep, he's
definitely playing a smart game. That's for sure, Jesse.
He is.
Yes. Very smart game.
He's going to have to really, really... I told my husband this, as soon as Noelle went out, and it kind of panned over to Jesse smiling, and I was like, and he is going to have to scramble from here on out.
Yes, he will.
He's going to have to.
He has the secret idol. He's going to need a pillow idol.
He was smiling as Noelle was getting votes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that too. And I was trying to look to see if he was smiling in the room, but there was too many people there, and I have very terrible eyesight. I can't see in the dark, so I wouldn't have been able to see if he was sitting next to me.
Sometimes he's almost too honest. He goes, "Yeah, I know exactly
what's
going to happen."
He did that.
It's like
he did that tonight.
Stop saying that.
Yep, yeah. Tonight before they cast, before they read votes and stuff, he did that too when he was talking about, Noelle bringing them to the, to this thing or whatever, and then reading the letters from home and saying, I know whatever moves I make tonight is setting up the rest of my game. Everything I'm doing right now is setting up the rest of my game.
He's basically admitting that he's the leader and that he's pulling the strings.
Absolutely is.
And I think gotta think that Carla's smart enough to figure that out.
I think if there's going to be a detrimental thing to his game, this is the start of that, because you do want everybody to know that you're the one who is in control of these things, that if you do end up in the end, you've got some people who can say, okay, I did this and I did this and I did this, and everyone goes, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was you that did that. But then there's other moves that you make that kind of look like other people made them, and sometimes once people get that locked into their head throughout the game, it is hard for them to let go of that idea when you are pleading your case to win $1 million, and those people are already irritated with you. So you do want the jury to know that it was you that made these moves, but I think he's letting them know too early.
Maybe. We have 7 left, so we're pretty close to the end.
Yeah. I think that if he made it through maybe next week and started going, I think he did it a tad too early. he's still my winner's pick, but I think he just set himself up for a real possible number 5.
He definitely should have put a target on his back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
For sure. I mean,
yep.
generally,
but he has. Cody's extremely loyal to him.
He is.
And if Cody hears his name being mentioned, he'll tell, and that's when Jesse plays the idol.
And you know what? That's how you play a good Survivor game, right? Like you want someone to be so loyal to you that they don't even think about the implications.
Yeah, and I think I think they're loyal to each other. Because I think Jesse wants to take. Jesse wants to take Cody to final 3 because I don't think Cody can win, even though Cody's a likable guy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that who's played the better game.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. He could easily win sitting next to him, but still be loyal and bring him there.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Wrapping up over here, Mike wants to know: does Jesse have 2 idols or just 1? He has 1. That's the secret one that he stole that he inherited when Dwight left the game. It was Janine's idol. Yeah. Janine gave it to Dwight. Dwight hot potato passed it to Jesse, and Jesse ended up having possession of it. He apparently, and I guess maybe we didn't see this last week, but when they've been doing this pass the idols thing, afraid of the knowledge is power advantage, that he must have taken Cody's idol at some point, the one that he got for making the beaded necklace. He must have taken his for a tribal council, and he told Noelle that what they were talking about was he had wanted to give the idol back rather than what they were really talking about, which was that Noelle was going to go home. So he only has 1 idol that no one knows about. The other one was just he was babysitting it.
And Randy wants to know why Jeff was wearing a black shirt on a hot tropical island. Because he looks hot in it, right?
Yeah, all his blue shirts were in the wash.
Yeah. Are those his name? Are those his personal brand shirts? Because he wears the same style of shirt. I don't know. I mean, is that it? I can't hear you.
I'm yawning now because it's 11. Is
it 11?
Almost, yeah. I think Jeff, once Cochran pointed it out, Jeff was like, I can never switch this now. Somebody has noticed my blue shirt. And he's a writer for 2.5 Men. Or whatever the hell Cochran got a job on.
I thought it was,
Jamie, you're muted.
I'm sorry about that. I think it's like the Star Trek, like the animated Star Trek, I think does. I don't know. Somebody can fact check me. There's a good chance I'm wrong.
I thought he did the show with Will Arnett. It was.
Oh, is that what it was? I can't remember.
I think so, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Maybe it was so long ago at this point, to be honest.
Maggie Martindale.
Margot Martindale.
Margot Martindale.
Spectacular actress. Best part of that freaking show that I just watched with the one that takes place in the New Jersey neighborhood. I just talked about it.
The Millers.
Nope.
Kevin Conway.
The Millers.
Lower Decks. Yeah.
The Millers. It was the Millers, I think, because it was.
I forgot about that show.
And it was not Jeff Bridges. What's the other? Beau Bridges, who's like 190.
Yeah. 190-year-old.
And I'm thinking of The Watcher. Margot Martindale was on The Watcher, and she was quite awesome in that. Okay, we gotta go.
She's awesome in everything.
She's awesome in literally everything. Give her all of the awards. Yeah, that's right. All right.
You need to get off the show for the end.
We gotta get going. Okay. Focusing, everyone. Thank you for listening. We super appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who joined us live. To our American listeners, happy Thanksgiving. To everybody else, happy Thursday, happy Friday, happy weekend. We'll be back next week. I don't think I have any plans to do the viewing party again next week. Regardless, it'll be about the same time that we start as always. Because it's not very far. It's not very far from my house if we do it. But anyway, on that note, thank you. We didn't get any emails this week. If you have any feedback, though, we would love to hear from you.
No emails this late in the game?
No emails this late in the game. SurvivorJJC@gmail.com. Once again, that's SurvivorJJC@gmail.com. Thank you to the patrons. If you'd like to become a patron, you can you can go to patreon.com/JayandJack. Thank you to the patrons that contribute a certain level, and that'd be Eckhart Rigner, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed the Creepy Poopy Head Mailman. Thank you guys so much. Zach and I are planning on doing a bonus show tomorrow, as we're doing it. So, we hopefully that will be out within the next day or so as you're listening to this, and we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll even get Alex as a part of it. But on that note, everyone, thank you again. Asleep. He'll fall asleep. I know, that poor kid was so tired. I knew he was going to be.
This will be Alex.
Yes, he was just like, you said we could go. You said I could go to sleep on you when I was tired, and I was like, I was just saying that to be a good mom. I didn't think you were gonna call me out on it. I totally knew he was gonna call me out on it. I was like, do you want a Shirley Temple?
How come Alex and you sound the same?
Would you like a non-alcoholic, non-caffeine drink?
Would you like like a non-alcoholic
have the real thing. Have a Coke.
Pepsi! Well, Zach wanted a Sprite, and I was like, we are not drinking Sprite at 8:30 at night, my friend. That is not happening.
It doesn't have caffeine, does it?
No,
but it has sugar in it.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit.
It has lots of sugar. Anyway, all right, everyone. Thank you so much again. We appreciate you joining us, and we will talk to you soon. On that note, my name is Colleen.
Still Jamie.
Still Jack.
Peace out, everybody.